Hey everybody. Excuse me. Tally time. February 2022. JW broadcast. 2 hours and 7 minutes on my tally. And this is, like 3 years worth of tallies. But this month they said Jehovah 113 times. Jesus 19. But get a load of this. Satan and the devil 26. You know how I feel about Satan getting more airtime than Jesus. Organization 4, governing body 19. That's a little high. Holy Spirit 4, average. The Truth 14. Actually, they said the truth quite a bit. Usually it's not that high. And they mentioned judgment once. That was on my list. But they did mention one thing that kind of caught my attention. They were talking about the resurrection. And did Lazarus know that he had been dead? Well, I bet they told him. I don't know if he remembered it. And it depends on what you read, because I've read other things that aren't part of the canon. And Lazarus had conversations with other people in the grave, so I don't know if they know they're actually dead or how that works. Everybody has their own opinion about that, I guess. I wanted to talk a little bit about a subject that kind of came up about people shutting their channels down. You get out of the organization, and I got out 39 years ago, and there was no internet. You were shunned and cut off, and that was that. You either went back or you didn't. I mean, sink or swim kind of thing. And you had to learn the real world as you went. These days with the internet, there's all kinds of support and encouragement for you out there, and a lot of people go to YouTube and they'll make a video about how they woke up and why they left and all that, and it turns into a channel, and they do that for a couple of years, and then they decide, well, I gotta quit doing this. I can't do Watchtower all the time, and I need to get on with my life and raise my kids and spend time with my spouse and, spend time with my family or whatever, and that's what they do. And I understand that, because there's things you need to learn. You got to grow and mature. Watchtower stunts people, and they do that on purpose. They do that. They isolate you and teach you that you don't need to know about the world, because you're not going to be in it that much longer, and you won't need this in paradise, and you won't need that in paradise, and all those speeches they give. But they do that to you on purpose, so that if you do choose to leave, it makes it really difficult, because you're socially, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, a bunch of different ways you're stunted. You get out in the real world and you realize, oh my God, these people know a lot more about real life than I do. And you got to learn those things. If you get stuck on them, you can go to therapy. Therapy's a good thing. I went twice. for things I couldn't get past, and the therapist had really good suggestions on how to grow from there, and it worked out real well. Uh, if you're surrounding yourself with when you leave Watchtower, but you're surrounding yourself with Watchtower all the time, day in, day out, 24/7, doing all that Watchtower stuff, you're not mindful of where you're stunted. So, there's been a lot of uh, things happening in the XJW community now, and I look and I'm like, my opinion is that this person never matured and never dealt with the problems that they had in Watchtower when they got out into the real world. And when you are dealing with those things in your real life, then you look at people coming out and you're like, man, they really got a lot to learn, a lot of things to learn. And I look at this person and say, man, that person's really immature and hasn't dealt with any of those problems. That person spent years and years in just dealing with Watchtower stuff. And so you don't get past that. You stay stunted. You still talk like them, act like them, do things like them, critical of other people like them, and it just doesn't make your life good. When a person leaves Watchtower, they need to experience real life, and they need to grow and mature and all those things. And that's the same reason why a lot of YouTube channels, after a couple of years, they say, man, I can't do this no more. I got to go on with my life. And that's the way it usually is these days. If they start a channel, a couple of years later, they're going to quit and they're going to go on with their life. And that's good. It's a good thing. But if you don't, if you're doing it for years and years and years, you're still stunted and you're still not growing and you're still not learning. And I think it's important for people to get out and learn where they are on this planet, who they are, have an identity, decide what you're going to do with your life, or how you're going to raise your children, or, things like that. And it's just an important thing to do. It's a big step. When I got out 39 years ago, there was no other option. I went on with my life, like I said, and had to learn those things. Lay down, Lucky. No. No. Lay down. No. No. And I just seen those two scenarios take place over and over and over again. Um, the most important thing you can do when you get out of Watchtower is to experience your life without them. Feel that weight lift off you and go out and explore the things, learn, go to school, go to college. I knew people in their 50s that went to college in the real world. When you get out and you're 30 something and you get out, you don't have to say, oh, well, it's too late for me to go to college. No, it's not. It's not too late. If you want to do it, do it. I went to college when I was 30. it was a technical college, but still, I mean, I learned a lot, things I didn't know, and grew, got to meet people, do things, go places. I mean, they're all good experiences. If your children are small, go to college while they're little, and that way you'll be around for them when they're older and they need you more. You know, you say the little kids need you more, but if you go when they're little, they don't remember you going. You know, they don't remember that, so it's not that big of a deal. That if you waited until they were 14 and went, then they'd probably not do as well. But go when they're young. You know, go when they're young. Get a good job. You can, support them better or whatever. But I encourage college. If you're 30s, 40s, 50s, go anyway. You know, figure it out. I mean, it's not real hard. I mean, it sounds like it might be. Like, how can I even afford it? How can I go? But there's a lot of ways to do it. Go and talk to them. Go talk to the enrollment people and see what you can work out. It usually works out, so I encourage people to do that. Um, but I really wanted to let people know that it's not a bad thing to leave Watchtower and just get out there in the real world. If you want to make a video as to what woke you up and why you left, then do it. But go on with your life. Don't get stuck, because it'll hold you back. And there's a lot of things you need to learn, and a lot of things you need to face, and a lot of things you need to grow on. Because, like I say, Watchtower does that to you on purpose. They got it well thought out. They keep you isolated, and when you get out in the real world, you think, oh my God, my only option is to go back, because you've learned to function inside that society, so to speak. And when you get out, you find out you're over your head. But don't let that scare you. The reason you feel over your head is because you have things to learn, and learning is good. Growing is good. Maturing is good. It hurts a little bit, but do it. You'll be a whole lot better off because of it. Then you can come back to YouTube later and tell everybody how well you did. I left Watchtower and I did this and I did that, and my kids are good, and you can tell people how well you did. There's a thing that you have to go through when you leave any cult, not just Jehovah's Witnesses. Any cult, where you wind up feeling angry. You wind up a lot of times depressed. A lot of things that everybody that leaves a cult feels. And you have to get past those and learn how to handle it. See your direction. And then later on, like I say, when you come back to YouTube and you want to help people, when you have the time to do that, then you're a lot more understanding and compassionate toward the people that are going through it, because you already experienced it and done it. It's kind of a hard thing to do, to say you understand if you've never been through it. You know how that is. When somebody loses a mother or a close family member or a spouse, you want to comfort them, but you know that, if you've never been through it, you can't really understand, and you want to tell them, well, it's never happened to me, but I imagine it must be terrible. But once you've been through it, you'd say, yes, I understand. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm there. It makes a big difference of how you treat other people if you've been there, done that, got a t-shirt, you know. But just getting on YouTube right out of Watchtower and not going through that process of growing and maturing and finding yourself and dealing with your anger and depression and all that stuff, well, then you're still stunted and immature. And I've noticed that with this current thing that's going on in the XJW community, that person seems real judgmental and immature, making terrible decisions, and now after all these years wants to go to therapy, which should have been done years ago to come to terms with those things, and it wouldn't have turned into the big mountain that it is. And it's sad to see, but go through the process. When you get out of Watchtower, um, find someone who's wearing the t-shirt. I haven't been there, done that. And get some good advice. It would have made things so much different in that person's life if they would have done that instead of claiming that they're helping all these people when they don't even know how to help themselves. Sad. And like other people said, it's a train wreck. It really is. And it's not good to see. It's terrible. It's terrible to see. But I just wanted to touch on that a little bit for you guys. Leaving any cult, but we is difficult. We deal with Jehovah's Witnesses here, but leaving any cult is hard. Being shunned is hard. Learning where you are in this world is hard. And it's not easy. My grandmother, she told me, she goes, I'm sorry. She goes, growing up isn't easy. And no, it's not. It's not. It's hard. And that's why you need someone there to help guide you and help you. And I think the internet's great. There's a lot of people that you can listen to and go to and talk to that you wouldn't have ever met them any other way. You wouldn't have gotten their advice any other way than by seeing them on the internet. I have some friends I've met on here that I knew from when I was young, and we'll be friends always. And I've met people that I've never even met face to face, and we connected, and we'll be friends forever. Good people, with good hearts, kind, loving people, and the internet's good. I kind of wish it was around when I had gotten out, so I would have had more advice and more encouragement and help, but it wasn't there then. But it's a good thing in a lot of ways. A lot of ways it's not, but you got to learn that too. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys again probably pretty soon. I want to start that Sunday talk thing and see how that goes. If y'all like it, I'll keep doing it, I guess, but if you don't, I won't. But I'll always do the broadcast. As long as I'm able to talk, I'll do the broadcast. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.